If you're here right now, it's not by accident. God wants you to hear something that could completely change the way you've been viewing this waiting season. God is saying, be at peace. Stop chasing. Rest. I know you're tired. I know you've tried everything. You've sent that text. You've dropped hints. You've left doors open. And still nothing seems to happen. But what if I told you this pause isn't abandonment? What if I told you that God is at this very moment working everything out behind the scenes? Take a deep breath. What you're about to hear will calm your soul and teach you to stop fighting and start trusting. There's a moment in the spiritual journey that few people understand. The moment when God asks you to stop, not because you did something wrong, not because he gave up on you, but because he needs you to get out of the way so he can work. Think about it. Have you ever tried to put together a puzzle with someone who keeps moving the pieces without letting you think? It's impossible. The person gets in the way more than helps. And that's exactly what happens when you can't be spiritually still. You want things to happen so badly that you end up interfering with God's work. You send that text you shouldn't send. You show up where you shouldn't be. You force conversations that aren't ready to happen. And every time you do that, you delay the process. God is telling you right now, my child, I need you to be still. Not because I don't love you, but because I love you too much to let you ruin what I'm preparing. And what he's preparing is beautiful. It's real. It's transformative. But it requires you to trust enough to stop trying to control everything. Think about a seed planted in the ground. In the first few days, nothing happens. The soil remains dark, silent, seemingly lifeless. And if you were impatient, you could dig up the seed to see how it's doing. But what would happen? You'd kill the seed because real growth happens in the place you can't see. It happens in the darkness, in the silence, in the stillness. And that's exactly what's happening right now in your life. You can't see it, but roots are being formed. Roots of faith, of patience, of trust, of mature love. Roots that will sustain everything God is about to build in your life. But those roots only grow when you stop interfering, when you rest, when you trust. Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. It doesn't say, fight and you will know. It doesn't say, force and you will know. It says, be still. Because it's in stillness that you truly find God. It's in stillness that you hear his voice. It's in stillness that he acts. And while you stay still, God works. Not on your plans, not on your strategy, but on his perfect plan. He's working on you, removing anxiety, healing wounds, strengthening your identity, teaching you that you don't need anyone to be complete because you're already complete in him. And he's also working on the circumstances, adjusting timing, preparing paths, orchestrating everything in ways you can't even imagine. But all of this requires one thing from you, that you stay still. I know this seems contradictory. How can doing nothing be powerful? Because in spirituality, doing nothing isn't passivity. It's active trust. Let me explain. When you're constantly trying to do something, sending texts, creating situations, forcing encounters, you're telling God, I don't trust you. I need to fix this myself. But when you stop, when you rest, when you say, Lord, I surrender this into your hands, you're declaring, I trust that you are greater than any effort of mine. And that declaration of faith releases God's power to act. Exodus 14:14 says, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Did you catch that? You need only to be still. God will fight for you. But you need to be quiet. You need to stop trying to fix everything. You need to rest. And resting doesn't mean you're going to do nothing with your life. It means you're going to stop acting out of desperation and start living by faith. It means you're going to take care of yourself. You'll grow. You'll mature. You'll strengthen your relationship with God. You'll live a full life even before anything external changes. Because true transformation doesn't happen when the situation changes. It happens when you change. And you only truly change when you stop fighting and start resting in God. You know what the biggest problem is for those who can't be still? Anxiety. Anxiety makes you believe that if you don't do something right now, everything will fall apart. It whispers, you need to act. You need to do something. You need to make sure this happens. But anxiety is a liar. It makes you act at the wrong time, in the wrong way, for the wrong reasons. And God is asking you to choose faith instead of anxiety, to choose rest instead of desperation. Philippians 4:6-7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Don't be anxious. Don't be desperate. Don't act out of fear. Instead, pray, surrender, and rest in God's peace. And when you do this, when you truly rest, something supernatural happens. You become magnetic, not because you're doing something, but because you're being who God called you to be. You become someone who doesn't need to chase, someone who doesn't need to beg, someone who doesn't need to prove anything. You become someone who is at peace, and peace attracts. You know why? Because peace is rare in this world. We live in a society where everyone is running, fighting, forcing. Everyone is anxious, desperate, lost. And when someone encounters a person who has true peace, a peace that doesn't come from perfect circumstances, but from trust in God, that person stands out. They shine differently. They speak differently. They act differently. And people are naturally drawn to those who are at peace. So while you stay still, while you rest, you're not wasting time. You're positioning yourself to receive everything God prepared for you. And while you rest, God isn't just working on external circumstances. He's working on you. Because let's be honest, if God gave you what you're asking for right now, would you be ready to receive it? Would you be ready to handle it without destroying it? The truth is, most of the time, no. You still have patterns that need to be broken, insecurities that need to be healed, fears that need to be faced. And God is using this time of stillness to do exactly that. He's teaching you self-control, to not act on impulse, to not let your emotions dictate your decisions. He's showing you who you are without depending on another person. He's teaching you that you're complete in God, not in a relationship. He's preparing you to love in a healthy way. Not a love that suffocates, that controls, that depends, but a love that liberates, that trusts, that respects. And all of this is essential because when and if this situation resolves, you need to be ready not to repeat the same mistakes. You need to be mature enough to build something that lasts. And that maturity doesn't come overnight. It comes through the process, through the waiting, through the stillness. You're feeling this in your heart right now, aren't you? This truth that God is molding you for a love you can't even imagine is possible. But I know there's a question that still keeps you up at night. What if I'm never truly ready? What if even after all this waiting, I don't know how to recognize true love when it arrives? That's exactly why, after hearing this from so many people on this same healing journey, I felt in my heart that I needed to gather everything I've learned about how to attract, and most importantly, recognize this mature love that God is preparing. This isn't just theory. It's a practical roadmap, step by step, to transform this waiting season into real preparation. I've prepared something special that's waiting for you in the first pinned comment. It's a gift I made with all my heart for those who are tired of waiting without direction. For those who want to transform this stillness into genuine growth. If it's meant for you, you'll know. Now let me continue showing you why this maturity that God is building in you is so essential. James 1:4 says, "Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Patience, the act of waiting with faith, has a perfect work. It completes you. It transforms you. It prepares you. So don't see this waiting time as wasted time. See it as preparation time. God is sculpting you. He's molding you. He's transforming you into the person you need to be to live the life He has for you. And when this process is complete, and only God knows when that will be, you'll be ready. Not just for this specific situation, but for everything that comes. Meanwhile, invest in yourself. Take care of your mental health. Strengthen your faith. Deepen your relationship with God. Cultivate true friendships. Develop your talents. Become the best version of yourself. Not to impress someone, not to win someone back, but because you deserve to live fully regardless of anyone else. And when you do this, when you truly grow, you become irresistible. Not by strategy, but by essence. But I know there's still a question hammering in your head. How long, Lord? I ceasing said Tada. How long do I have to wait? How long do I have to be still? How long do I have to trust without seeing anything happen? And God's answer is always the same. Until the right time. I know this is frustrating because you want a date. You want a deadline. You want to be sure you're not waiting in vain. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith is trusting without seeing. It's resting without having all the answers. Hebrews 11:71 says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. You don't see it yet, but you can believe. And believing isn't just thinking God can do something. It's resting in the certainty that He's doing what's best for you, even when you don't understand. It's trusting that His timing is perfect, that His plans are bigger, that He's never late. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. In His time, not yours. Not the time you'd prefer, but the time that's perfect. And while you wait, you're not alone. I sense you're recognizing something important right now, that this waiting time isn't empty, but full of purpose. And if you want to learn how to transform this waiting into real growth, healing wounds, building self-love, recognizing true signs, the material I prepared is in the first pinned comment. It's for those who are ready to move beyond desire and into intentional action. But continuing, God is with you, holding you, sustaining you, carrying you when you have no more strength. Isaiah 49:31 says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Those who hope in the Lord, not those who give up, not those who force, but those who wait with faith, and they renew their strength even when it seems impossible. They find strength to continue, to trust, to rest. So if you're tired today, know this. God is renewing your strength. If you're discouraged, know this. God is sustaining you. If you're in doubt, know this. God is faithful and He won't abandon you. He never abandons those who trust in Him. You know what else? God sees your tears. He knows every night you stayed awake, every prayer you prayed, every sigh of exhaustion. Psalm 56:8 says, you keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. God is keeping every tear of yours. None of your pain is wasted. Everything you're going through, all this waiting, all this silence is part of a bigger purpose you can't see yet. But one day, you'll look back and understand. You'll see how every piece fit perfectly. How every moment of waiting was necessary. How God never left you, even when it seemed He was silent. And on that day, you'll fall to your knees and thank Him, not just for what He gave, but for everything He taught you while you waited. There's something powerful that happens when you finally stop running and learn to rest. Not theoretical knowledge, lived wisdom, learning in practice what it really means to trust God. You learn the difference between urgency and importance. Not everything that seems urgent is actually important. And not everything that's important needs to be solved right now. When you're anxious, everything seems urgent. You feel like you need to act immediately, like you need answers now, like you need to fix everything today. But when you rest in God, you understand that some things can only be resolved with time. Some healings only happen gradually. Some transformations require process, and you learn to respect that, to respect God's timing, to respect your own healing timeline. You also learn about true surrender. Many people talk about surrender, but few actually live it. Surrender isn't giving up on your dreams. It's not accepting just anything. It's giving control to God, trusting that He knows what's best. It's saying, Lord, I desire this with all my heart, but if it's not your will, I trust that you have something better for me. And that surrender sets you free, because when you're not desperately clinging to a specific outcome, you can live, you can breathe, you can have peace regardless of circumstances. And you learn about true love because true love isn't possession. It's not desperation. It's not need. True love is freedom. It's wanting what's best for the other person, even if it means not being together. It's respecting the other's timing. It's trusting what's real without needing to control it. This understanding that true love is freedom, not neediness, is the foundation of everything. If you want to deepen this understanding to learn how to attract this kind of mature love, and most importantly, recognize it when it arrives, check out what I left for you in the first pinned comment. And only when you learn this, only when you mature to this level, are you ready for a relationship that truly works. Because then you won't love from lack. You'll love from choice. You'll love because you want to, not because you need to. And that's the kind of love that lasts. That's the kind of love God is preparing you to live. So what do you do now? How do you live this stillness practically? First, stop monitoring. Stop compulsively checking social media. Stop looking for signs in every detail. Stop analyzing every move. This only feeds anxiety. If you need to mute, distance yourself. Protect your mental peace. Second, redirect your energy. All the energy you're spending obsessing over this situation, put it into yourself. Go back to that project you abandoned. Pick up that dream you set aside. Invest in your growth. Become so involved in your own journey that you don't have time to be anxious. Third, stop talking about it all the time. Venting is fine, but if you're constantly talking about this situation, you're keeping the wound open. Make space for other topics in your life. Allow your mind to rest. Fourth, don't force anything. Don't create chance encounters. Don't send in direct messages. Don't use others to get information. All of that is manipulation, and that's not how something real is built. If God is taking care of it, let Him take care of it. Fifth, take care of your inner wounds. Use this time to work on your emotional issues. Seek therapy if necessary. Talk to spiritual mentors. Heal what's broken inside you, because when you heal on the inside, you love better on the outside. Sixth, keep your faith active, but not obsessive. Pray. Trust, but don't spend all day asking for signs or confirmations. True faith rests. It doesn't get anxious. It simply trusts and moves forward. Seventh, practice gratitude daily. Even in the waiting, there are things to be grateful for. Be thankful for life, for health, for lessons, for God's faithfulness. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Eighth, surround yourself with people who strengthen your faith. Avoid those who feed your anxiety or encourage you to act out of desperation. Seek those who remind you to trust God. And lastly, be at peace with any outcome. Trust that God knows what's best, and that whatever the result, you'll be okay. Because your wholeness isn't in another person. It's in God. I sense you made it this far because something inside you is ready for real change. You've already understood that you need to rest in God, that you need to stop forcing. But maybe you're asking yourself, what now? How do I turn all this into practical steps? How can I be sure I'm preparing myself the right way? The truth is, many people spend years waiting, but don't know how to heal past wounds, how to develop genuine self-love, or how to recognize true signs when love arrives. And that's exactly the purpose of what I prepared, a complete guide called How to Attract and Recognize True Love. This isn't just another theoretical resource. It's a roadmap that takes you through the stages you truly need to go through, from healing emotional wounds and past traumas to vibrational alignment with true love, developing intentional action, and finally, how to nurture that love when it arrives. It's the missing step by step to transform this waiting into real preparation. If your heart is telling you this is the moment, that the time has come to act with intention, instead of just passively waiting, you'll find this material in the first pinned comment. The moment to transform this stillness into genuine growth is now. Your heart already knows. So breathe, let go, and rest. God is taking care of everything. If this touched you, leave in the comments, I choose to rest in God. And remember, you're not alone. God is with you and He is faithful. If this content has made a difference in your journey, and if you believe it deserves to reach more people, you can support this channel in a very simple way. Just click the thanks button below this video and make a donation. Any contribution, no matter how small, helps a lot to keep this space alive. And even if you can't right now, your presence here is already a tremendous gift.